As for Drake and Kendrick Lamar, if you're prepared to see how things went so crazy on the opening night of Lamar's grand national tour in Toronto, fans were clamoring for an encore of Not Like Us as the evening came to a close. Make sure to subscribe and give a like. It definitely helps me out, and what happened at this Kendrick Lamar event is demonstrating more than ever that Drake is over, and Kendrick's run has been so successful that he has now won over Drake's whole city. Make sure to leave that like so that everyone can see how hip-hop has never been more popular in a new era. And with that said, the one thing that the entire Drake community has demonstrated is that they are in complete disarray over what just transpired with Kendrick Lamar visiting the Rogers Center and bringing the grand national tour to Drake's territory. Well, just another stop on this record-breaking run, and as a result, they have never been more pitiful. In fact, we have never witnessed such a show of shame from anyone, including Drake, in all of OVO and those around them. The top 5 scholars people at the pizza party, Smiley Mall, or anybody else because of all these crashes, regardless of who we choose to look at. Whether academics or not, Drake has been humiliated, whether he knew it or not, by claiming that he hasn't left the home in 2 days while Kendrick Lamar is on his territory. The OVO pizza party people, who witnessed a group of fans attempting to perform Drake's songs outside the Rogers Center and it going so badly that it was eventually canceled, or the top 5, who demonstrated how much of a loser he truly is by simply trying to find Kendrick Lamar everywhere in Toronto, made it even funnier. All of these losers likely didn't consider this because they have been trying to minimize Kendrick Lamar for a long time, calling him overrated and acting as though what he is doing is not special and that it's just the usual for Drake overall. However, their words have attempted to convince us that their choices have shown us the complete opposite, and seeing the reactions from everyone involved in this and how there has been chaos all around these crashes because Kendrick simply has the ability to play Not Like Us now for everyone on Drake's home turf to hear. Because, in all honesty, no other rapper in the history of the genre has such a devoted following, and artists who are hiding out like Drake, even on his own territory. Or who, in the case of the fans, are giving out pizza to try to deal with the fact that they are confined to the hip-hop subculture that must listen to SSS for you and not GNX. Even if all of these OVO representatives simply disgraced themselves before the performance even started, at least one of the 6 correctly prepared for this evening with New Ho King, who greeted Kendrick Lamar's triumph and celebrated his throne claim. Furthermore, given the importance of this location in the beef, it was of course referenced in Euphoria, and Drake's attempt to have a gotcha moment with it in the Family Affairs video. Seeing it honor Kendrick in this manner seems like the most appropriate approach to symbolically conclude by summarizing the events of this entire performance. Since nobody was surprised by this all-time incredible run, Kendrick Lamar's performance in the 6th well was really more successful than the pizza parties and everything else that the losers and crash around Drake did. Naturally, Kendrick Lamar emerged victorious in this case since he accomplished all of his goals and much more, both practically and in terms of the implications for hip-hop in general and this feud with Drake in particular. In fact, even with just one of these performances, Lamar has proven once again that he is unique and that no one in the current hip-hop era can compare to him. Furthermore, even on a field that is so distant from his own and that his opponent has marketed as the one that will always support him. To reiterate how desperate Drake has been to demonstrate this, he has spent his entire recent run trying to persuade himself and everyone that they will stick by him no matter what. He has done this with strange songs like Wagwan Delilah, all the way after losing the beef so badly, or even as a whole with strange albums like SSS for You, which once more attempted to make up for everything Drake did that he was criticized for not liking us for. Now, even though Drake is claiming that he is the king of hip-hop, and this city in particular is still doing well, the lesson here should be that instead of trying to get other artists associated with Kendrick, like Schoolboy Q, to cancel their shows here and just play around with all the same old antics he has been doing for this entire time, Drake should have perhaps focused on his own craft and how he can become a better rapper and artist. After all, while Drake has been trying to distance himself from his fans and even his hometown and do things that would get him as far away from Kendrick Lamar as possible, Kendrick Lamar has done the exact opposite. And now he is actually finished. The run he has been on in a way. Kendrick Lamar has been on a mission that has led to this very show and moment. And now in the most crucial place that Kendrick could have tested them. Because in terms of all these performances, if we go back to his first show in the beef and the pop-out from his own turf to everywhere else, Kendrick has truly proven that he is the king of every single major mark spot in hip-hop. He started by bringing the people around him together first. And then he went on to show every city that he is the biggest rapper there. Well, Kendrick truly showed that maybe in this spot more than anywhere else, Kendrick is so beloved here. And way more than Drake is because, truly, with the energy that was in the Rogers Center for the shows, I've got bad news for Drake, but there is no other way to put it. It was like nothing else we have ever seen because genuinely between Kendrick Lamar becoming the first ever rapper to fill up this venue and has now played the biggest show a rapper ever has in the city that Drake tried to hype up would always be on his side to how fans reacted to everything Kendrick did, which ultimately, no matter what you want to say and how they try to spin things, ended up giving us a performance where Kendrick had even more energy than usual. Which, if you have seen this show or have seen anything from it, is saying so much, and again, it ultimately made the fans and the people of the place that Drake said would always be down for him. As for an encore of the Dish song that Drake has just lost it over like no other rapper has ever lost anything before in Not Like Us, and so with this truly, Kendrick Lamar can say for sure that just after one night of being here, he is really getting way more love in Drake's own city than he ever has as truly with this entire show. But what we especially witnessed when Kendrick played Not Like Us is that Kendrick Lamar's reign on hip-hop has now become so great and his run so dominant that he is not just the king of the West and in the genre as a whole, but he is running even Drake's own turf more than Drake really is. Now, no matter what the desperate people in OVO try to say to avoid facing the reality, it only has Drake doing co-headlining shows with Travis Scott, Future, Lil Wayne, Migos, and so many other stars. Nobody has ever been able to fill up a show like this and get all of these fans to come out once, but all the people at the show loved the moments where Kendrick was doing the Dradis' songs more than any other auth city. Almost because, as far as I can tell, nobody else in this concert has ever requested an encore, unlike us. In terms of returning to the stage following the altercation, at least since the pop-out that began Kendrick Lamar's whole career. Given that Toronto is the first city since the pop-out show to request an encore that is truly unreal, the message is very clear, and Drake and everyone else should take note of this moving forward. Kendrick Lamar is bringing this all-time great track here and giving one of the most exciting performances we have ever seen of it, because the stakes are so high and the crowd is so into it. The Six really did, and demonstrated to us that they are pushing Drake aside and telling the rest of the hip-hop community, and Kendrick Lamar in particular, that they do not support Drake and the clown antics and sentiments that he was called out for not liking us. Instead, it appears that they agree with Lamar's very beliefs, which is why there was such a surge of excitement and joy to simply receive this show after Drake didn't just, clearly, they irritate people. But they also feel that Drake has been avoiding them for a long time, which is likely why the Atlanta portion of the song still speaks to them. Drake has been avoiding his own city's music scene for a long time, and hasn't just failed to put anyone on or even promote a signature sound that could benefit others. However, this has consistently been the main issue. He is obviously disassociated from them as a whole, and from the moment we witnessed Ick Lamar, because he is so consumed with becoming someone he is not. Once more, it's not about Drake's opinion anymore. Rather, it's about what the public has decided, and that is Kendrick. Really, now that Kendrick has amassed yet another hip-hop infinity stone in this historic moment, everyone should realize that Drake's hometown should do this. The top 5 can crash out as often as he wants, and OVO fans can throw as many pizza parties as they want to try to stop things from happening. But that won't change what has already happened in this all-time run, which has made it clearer than ever that, even in Drake's hometown, the general public and true hip-hop fans don't want him to represent what they stand for. Instead, they have chosen Kendrick Lamar to be the genre's king, just like everyone else has. Now, if you were Drake C in this moment, you would realize that you have been doing something wrong. Clearly, you need to reflect if even the 6 is claiming Kendrick over you bio. But sure, in typical Drake fashion, he probably won't learn anything from this and will only embarrass himself more. Now, what's truly surreal about this entire moment is, well, no matter how bad this was for Drake and what was shown on night 1, Kendrick has another show coming up, and at that, he will be performing the diss tracks that forever solidified him as the boogeyman on Friday the 13th. Well, between the surprises Kendrick Lamar can have coming and what Drake is about to see with how much he has truly lost, as this show is supposed to be even bigger, well, now, as this next moment comes, which is supposed to be even bigger, Kendrick is already sitting on the throne that Drake thought he would always have. Well, what we can say for sure is that things are only going to get crazier, scarier, spookier, and more hilarious from here. And so now, all this said, do you know what you think about what Kendrick Lamar just did as he delivered a show like we have never seen and is shown once and for all that even on Drake's own home turf, people are choosing Kendrick over him? Now, going forward, what do you think is going to happen with this next show? And now, you've made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me. Now, if you want to see how Drake tried to divert everyone's attention from Kendrick Lamar's attempt to do this, which ultimately failed because he became even more desperate for a collaboration with Kai Cenat, which didn't work out, all of this is just making Drake appear worse than ever. View the recommended video.